Hey, how's it going? This is Tamotsu. I hope you're doing well. Today, I want to talk about 5 tips to survive your 10-day Vipassana course that no one talks about. All right, let's get started. All right, so I am back from a 10-day Vipassana course that I went to with my wife and wanted to share 5 tips for you to easily survive the 10-day Vipassana course. The location we went to was in Wisconsin of the United States. So depending on your location, your experience might vary a bit. The type of foods and also the type of accommodation that you get may vary. So that keep that in mind. And I've created this 5 tips with that in mind that, things may vary. So I want to give you a heads up with an overall picture of this experience. I'm assuming that you're watching this video because you've already had an interest in applying for a 10-day Vipassana course. Maybe it was one of your family members, maybe it was friends or coworkers that had attended the course and had recommended it to you. Maybe it was because you've been meditating and want to take your meditation to the next level and wanted to learn a lot more about it. Maybe it's just curiosity and maybe you're wanting to experience different things in life, and maybe you're looking for a mystical experience. Maybe you've come to a crossroads in your life and you're figuring out, should I go left? Should I go right? Should I go the no path? And maybe it's also just a challenge that you want to overcome. Whatever your reason may be, there are things you want to be prepared for to make the best out of your experience. 10 days of full silence is a major commitment, not only in terms of figuring out work schedules, social schedules, and many more things that have to be considered when taking 10 days off completely. So you're not going to be able to be reached by any means. So no cell phone, no email, no writing letters, no smoke signals, nothing. So keep that in mind. And even in our case, my wife and I had decided to go to this course over a trip to Prague. And my wife hadn't gone to Prague yet, so I really wanted to show her, but we decided this is much more important for us right now. My wife being pregnant, these were serious considerations as our travels will be most likely reduced by quite a bit when our new addition to the family comes. So if you've never heard of the 10-day Vipassana course, it's a meditation course that teaches you the technique of Vipassana meditation. Keep in mind that this course is a very technique and sense-oriented course, and there will be very little theoretical and philosophical discussion. They actually don't prefer that you go into those type of questioning, and they ask you to keep the questions very succinct and technique-oriented. So if you have any questions about the technique, they would more than happy to answer those questions. But if you're there to discuss a philosophical question and theoretical type of things, I don't think they would be too receptive to that. So keep that in mind. They also do a great job of keeping things secular and secular as much as possible in this spiritual practice. So keep that in mind. And so with that said, even if you subscribe to any religion, it is still recommended because it doesn't trample over any type of religion per se. It's a spiritual practice, but something that will improve your life no matter what your beliefs are. All right, so with that said, let's go into the practical tips no one is talking about. Tip number 1 is bring digestive enzymes, activated charcoal, and or lactase pills. When you're meditating for 10 hours a day, you're bound to hit gas and stomach discomfort. I'm surprised that I haven't found any resource that mentions this, but I have to say, if our wife and I decide to go to another 10-day course, will definitely be bringing them along. The food that were served to us was fantastic, all the vegetarian meal, but with that, there are a lot of carbs, vegetables that cause gas, such as beans, bananas even cause gas, broccoli, and more. So what I would recommend is for you to test out a few digestive enzymes and take the one that works for you. Also, there may be dairy that is served, and if you can't avoid it or want to eat it, I would also recommend lactase pills for people who don't process the lactose well. I've also noticed that activated charcoal works really well for gas. Tip number 2, build your core for long sits. Yes, sure, Vipassana will show you that suffering is a construct of the mind, and you may get into the flow where your pains evaporate, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have sufficient core strength to sit through the meditation sessions. The more you have your core built up, the more focus you can place on your meditation, making the best out of your time there. If you're constantly moving around because of pain that comes from lack of core strength, you'll be focused on the wrong things. The way we built up our core is to sit without back support. Start by doing 20 to 30 minutes and build up your way to 1 hour. Keep in mind that you could be doing anything while you're sitting. You don't have to be meditating, we're here to build up our core. So read, watch a video, do other things while you sit straight up without any back support. Tip number 3, find your own comfortable sitting posture. Bring a cushion and blanket. Your location will most likely have cushions and sitting gadgets you can use, but it would be best to bring your own, which you've tried and work for you. It'll be much better than finding the cushion they provide don't work well for you and having to change out with each sit. Surprisingly enough, the most comfortable position for me was the kneeling bench. When sitting on the ground on a cushion, I found that the Burmese method was the most comfortable. I'll also mention that the center offers chairs, so if you have joint issues or pregnant, you can always request a chair. When you do sit, try not to rest your back on the seat. It'll make a difference in your focus. Tip number 4, bring armrests. If you have shorter arms in relation to your torso, I highly recommend bringing an armrest. This will help you preserve your shoulders and also your trapezius, because you'll have most of your arm weight on the armrest. And this armrest can be anything from a pillow to towels. Just make sure that you test it out beforehand when you're doing your sits. Tip number 5. I've never been pregnant, and I don't plan to become pregnant anytime soon. If you're pregnant, don't worry, you'll just be fine. Of course, you don't want to be doing a 10-day Vipassana course when you're about to give birth this week or next week, right? So my wife was halfway into her pregnancy, and we also saw 2 others that were pregnant, about maybe 1 to 2 months ahead of her. But be smart, but also don't worry about it. Be smart in the sense of be prepared. Prepare all the things that will keep you comfortable. And not only that, contact your center beforehand. Email them and then ask them all the questions that you have. And also, if you have any special dietary issues that you need to deal with, please go ahead and contact them so that they can prepare, and if anything, you guys can negotiate something. And so with that said, they are very compassionate about people who are pregnant, so understand that and don't worry, because we ourselves were very worried about going there, especially when the date came closer and closer. We were worried, are you going to be okay? Do we have to worry about baby? Things like that. But everything was good to go. And if you need extra food or a chair, you can always let them know. All right, so these are the 5 tips that no one's talking about. I hope this really helps you. And if you have any questions, please comment below, send me a like, and a subscribe, and I hope to continue offering a lot of value to you and your family. Have a great day. Take care.